What's good, everybody? I uh, I honestly can't remember the last time I came on and I reviewed a WWE weekly television show. It's been a while. It's been a damn minute, man. I think since last summer I haven't reviewed a WWE show, but man, a TV show, but man, after everything that's been happening this week, Vince McMahon stepping down, Sasha Banks getting released. I had no choice but to come on tonight. It's just too big to talk about, especially this Vince stuff, because this Vince stuff is probably one of the biggest reports, one of the biggest um, news in all of wrestling in a very long time. And it could start and result in change in WWE. And he was on Smackdown tonight, and he didn't say anything. He didn't really say much about the investigations that are going on, and he was out there. We'll talk about it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So I decided, and I even told the guys as well, that tonight we're just not going to review Rampage because I feel like the bigger story is with SmackDown tonight. Everything going on with Vince McMahon. There's a big title match with Roman Reigns, his return. And yeah, man, just want to talk about some WWE for tonight. I thank you guys for joining me. I'm not going to be here for long, maybe like 20 minutes. I got to work tomorrow morning around 10, so we won't be here for that long. I got to get some. I got to get some good sleep before work is tomorrow. So let's just get into it, man. But if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out Wednesday's AEW Dynamite review with myself, Wesley Williams, and Cameron Johnson. Be sure to go ahead and tune in. So let's just dive into everything that we got to talk about. And the first one I want to talk about actually is Sasha Banks. I want to talk about Sasha Banks real quick. Because when you guys watched Wednesday, it was apparently reported Wednesday night that that Sasha Banks was released. This was from Raj Gieri. We didn't know if it was true, if it was false. People were saying that it's not confirmed. Sean Ross Sapp came out and said that it's not confirmed, and there's no statement from WWE. So basically, we all think that is she released? Is she not released? What's really going on? I don't know. But then I would say around 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. And I watched the show late tonight because I was out to dinner watching the Phillies game with some family. WrestleVotes tweeted this around 7 o'clock. And the tweet was, the word backstage from SmackDown tonight is that the report from Raj Gieri is indeed accurate, according to multiple sources. Sasha Banks has been released from her WWE contract. WWE hasn't said anything about this, but if they're talking about it backstage, WrestleVotes, I think it's a pretty reliable source. It must be true. And if this is really true and Sasha Banks is gone, this is probably the biggest release in the company since Jon Moxley, 1. And 2, this is a big blow. A big blow for WWE's women's division. Now, we'll talk about women in WWE in a little bit, but this is some bombshell news, man. Sasha Banks, as you guys know, walked out about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. Uh, on WWE Creative after a bad idea was pitched about some six-pack challenge with Naomi going over pinning Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out and haven't been on television since. The women's tag titles haven't been mentioned. I don't watch the television show every week, but I do keep up with it on Twitter, like I tell you guys. So, um, yeah, man, I keep up with it, and it's crazy. It is crazy that one of the four horsewomen who really, I think, started the women's revolution in WWE. She was a big piece to that and actually cared. Um, she's no longer there. And that is a massive blow for the women's division, but they treated her poorly. Yeah, she had that one SmackDown Women's Championship run that lasted over 100 days that she lost to Bianca Belair. That was really good. But the rest of her reign didn't go for over 30 days. She was mistreated as tag team champions not once but twice, and I just feel like it's one of the situations where she's just had enough. She's had enough of the bullshit. She's had enough of what WWE has for her, and she took her ball and she went home. And I doubt that she cares that she's released because she's now a free woman and she can do whatever the hell she wants. And I'm interested, man. I'm guessing she's on a 90-day no-compete clause, but man, when she goes on her podcast and when she goes on her podcast, I don't know what it's going to be. If it's Chris Van Vliet or Talk is Jericho, one of those. I'm excited to hear her side of the story out of everything that happened. That's going to be massively watched. That show is going to be massively watched. To hear the story of Sasha Banks and what happened and what led to this, because it's a long time coming too. I think it goes past her and Naomi walking out on WWE. She should have been the top female in the company, and she wasn't. She was the best women's wrestler in that company, with Io Shirai as a very close second. But she was probably the best women's wrestler in that company. And while I don't think she's going to go right to wrestling, because I do, all honestly, guys, I think she's going to go Hollywood first. I think she's going to continue in her movie career and making money in Hollywood. That's what I think is going to happen first. But, I mean, she is only 30 years old. So, if you told me that she might not go to AEW right away, I would probably agree with you. I don't think she's going to go to AEW right away on a personal opinion. But I do think she'll be there at some point. It's just not going to be right away. I do think it'll be a couple of years. I think she just wants to stay away from wrestling for a couple of years and not deal with the politics that go on in wrestling. I think she just wants a break. And you know what, man? Good for her. Whatever she wants to do, let her do it. So she's a free woman. She's not in the company anymore. Absolute bombshell news. Like I said, I think this is probably WWE's biggest release since Jon Moxley. So we'll see what happens with her career, but I wish her nothing but the best. Honestly, I wish her nothing but the best. the other big story that's happened in WWE this week, Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is being investigated by WWE Board for having an affair with a previous employee in 2019, and he paid her harsh money for, I believe, $3 million. So, not a good look on Vince McMahon's part when that was reported by the Wall Street Journal, and it was reported by all of these big news outlets, not even just wrestling sources. It was like CNN, Fox News. This was big, and this is one of the biggest stories um, in 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 a very long time, man. I was speechless. I was at first, honestly, at first, I was confused because I was at work and I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, I don't know what to think about this. I was confused by the situation. Everybody was talking about it. Really, the big news was today. So, with everything going on, Vince McMahon, it was announced this morning that Vince McMahon was going to step down as chairman and CEO of WWE, and he's going to be replaced for the time being, not forever. There is so many people on social media over exaggerating by this. It's just an investigation. He's probably going to have to go to court, so he's going to deal with this for a couple of months. He's still going to be backstage. He's still going to be there every week. But he's just not the CEO now. But when all of this shit's over, you guarantee he will be right back in that position, and he will be that top guy. He's just not the top guy now, but we'll get to that. I still think he has a pretty loud say in the WWE backstage. He's the damn owner of that company. Of course, he's going to have a pretty damn big backstage role and whatever. Stephanie tweeted out, until the conclusion of the investigation into recent allegations, I am honored to resume the role of interim chairwoman and CEO. I love WWE and all it continues to do to entertain billions around the world. That was from Stephanie McMahon. There was a press release. I'm not going to read all of it, but this is from Stamford, Connecticut this morning. WWE and the board of directors today announced that a special committee of the board is conducting an investigation into alleged misconduct by its chairman and CEO, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, head of talent relations. That effective immediately, McMahon has voluntarily stepped back from his responsibilities as CEO and chairman of the board until the conclusion of the investigation. McMahon will retain his role and responsibilities related to WWE's creative content during this period and remains committed to cooperating with the review underway. So, number one, this is not a long time. This is not full-time. Vince McMahon will be back, I guarantee, as soon as possible. I guarantee he will be back as the chairman of the board once this shit's all over. And I do think he will win this case that's going on. Because he is one of the smartest businessmen in sports and in wrestling. He is a very smart businessman. As much as we all criticize him every week for the shows that are being put on, he's a very smart man, and I think we all need to know that. John Laurinaitis is in this as well. Apparently, um, this employee, this past employee, was being passed around from Vince McMahon to John Laurinaitis, and she was being described as a toy. So I'm not sure who the person is. I'm not sure what the story about that is, but John Laurinaitis is probably the sacrificial lamb in all this. John Laurinaitis will be fired. I'm not going to be shocked when that happens, and I'm pretty sure the WWE Women's Locker Room is going to be thrilled by all of this. They're going to be absolutely thrilled that he's gone, because he's one of the problems with women's wrestlers backstage and why women's wrestling is the way it is and why it's kind of going back to what it was years ago, and that was the Divas era, where it was given 2-minute matches every single week. This line, McMahon will retain his role and responsibilities related to WWE's creative content during this period and remains committed to cooperating with the review underway. Folks, he's going to be there every week. He's going to be at the shows every week, coming up with the script. I do think that if he came up with ideas, maybe they would get pitched something else and have to be approved by Stephanie. I don't know I don't know what it is, but one thing for sure is that the shows aren't going to change because he's there, and I don't know if Stephanie's going to clean house. I doubt it. I highly doubt it, but I doubt that Stephanie is going to clean house and bring in a full new team of hers. I just don't. I don't see that happening at all. I don't see that happening at all. Excuse me, I'm just trying to pull up some tweets so for things that I can read. Let me see here. Here we go. So nothing's really going to change. He's going to be there for everybody that thinks, oh, this could be a change in power and all that stuff. I don't think that's the case. He's still there every week. He's still probably the man they go to for asking for questions. Excuse me. And I don't think that his team is comfortable with Stephanie McMahon. And one thing I want to read is this was from a anonymous wrestler in the WWE that told Fightful Select this. It's an article. It says, as long as Vince McMahon still has his creative duties, nothing can change. What could possibly be different if he asks something of Stephanie as interim CEO? Is she going to say no? I don't. I absolutely agree with that. I don't see Stephanie saying no to a creative idea, an idea that Vince pitches. I just don't see her standing there and saying no to her dad, who owns the company. That's just not happening. It's just not happening, and he's probably, like I said, he's still the top guy back there. Even though Stephanie is labeled as the CEO and the chairwoman now of WWE, he's the top guy no matter what. So, and he's going to be with the company for a while. And excuse me, one last thing. I don't want to talk about it. The main event was awesome, by the way. The Matt Riddle Roman Reigns match, awesome. I really enjoyed it. Roman Reigns needs to be on TV more to build up matches like this. And Matt Riddle's great. He needs to be in the main event scene. And I'm extremely disappointed that we're getting Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the 1500th time at SummerSlam for both titles. Like, give me a break, man. Are you for real? Give me a break with that shit. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns again for both titles at SummerSlam. I don't want to talk about that, but Vince did come out on SmackDown tonight. He got cheered. He got booed as well. If you guys listened in closely, Vince McMahon was getting a lot of boos as well. So he was definitely getting booed. People singing his theme song. He was out there. He said, anytime I'm out here, I mean, he's 76 years old. You can hardly hear him speak now. But he said, anytime I'm out here, it's a pleasure to be in front of the WWE Universe, and it's a pleasure to be standing in the middle of this ring. He says the four most important words in the company are then, now, forever, and together. And then he says, welcome to Friday Night Smackdown on Fox. So he didn't mention anything about the allegations going on. And ladies and gentlemen, we got clickbaited. We got, with this news, Vince McMahon's going to show up on SmackDown. This was just to get a good rating. This rating, they will probably have over 3 million viewers tomorrow when the rating comes out. And because of this and the main event, SmackDown this week is going to get a very good rating. I highly expect them to get over 3 million views. I would be shocked if it does not get over 3 million views. And then another report from Fightful Select reports the reactions to Vince McMahon opening segment range from disappointed to downright enraged. And the anonymous top talent called it tone deaf and embarrassing for WWE. Another feels he showed no accountability for what he did. So there you go. Vince really didn't say much during the opening segment, and that was the reaction backstage. So that's my thoughts on everything that happened this week. I just want to come on here to talk about the Vince McMahon situation, Sasha Banks getting released. I watched SmackDown tonight, full episode for the first time since I think draft night in October, and nothing really much on the show. The show was okay. The main event was awesome. I love the main event, and yeah, we're building toward Money in the Bank, and I'll be trying to make more content, more WWE content here during the summer. But hope you guys like the video. Be sure to subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on all of this stuff. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @Conlon_Joseph. And guys, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy. We out. Peace.